I closed down my freelancing business in Spain after almost 5 years and moved everything to Dubai. And if you would have told me this a couple of years ago, I would have laughed. But the truth is that running a business in Spain and in Europe was no longer profitable or beneficial for me. So I made this bold decision, and in today's video I'm going to share with you the entire process, why I chose Dubai, the pros and the cons, and I'll help you assess if you are ready for this next bold move in your business. Hey there friend, I'm Ron, welcome back to my channel. In this channel I share all my learnings, all my challenges, lessons from building a business as a solopreneur and helping you with all the mindset, spirituality aspects of growing a business, but also the tools that I use, how I've used AI to scale my business. So all things entrepreneurship to help you grow a business that feels balanced, that feels good, and that gives you joy. So let's rewind and give you some context on why I left Spain. I started my business back in 2019 as a freelancer. And at the beginning, they kind of sell you the story that you have these benefits like the social security. So as a self-employed in Spain, you have to pay a social security fee every single month. So the first year as a self-employed, it's actually pretty low. It's 60 euros per month, regardless of the income that you generate. But as time passes by, this fee increases. And by the time I left Spain last year, I was already paying 600 euros per month. And I even know people that are paying over 1,000 euros per month just of this social security fee. This is not taxes. On top of this, you have to pay the tax for the income that you generate, and since it's European Union, you also have to pay VAT, so you have to charge VAT on your products and services for people within the European Union. When I started my business in 2019, I was paying around 15% of tax for every sale or for the total income generated, which again seems pretty reasonable. By the time I left Spain last year, I was already paying nearly 40%. So if you add all of that together, I was basically giving back to the government almost 50% of my yearly revenue, and honestly, I wasn't getting anything in exchange. No benefits, no tax deductions that made sense. I felt like I was just paying and paying and paying, and it started to become really frustrating. On top of this, all the bureaucracy and paperwork that you need to do every quarter was just becoming a nightmare. And that's when I decided, okay, I need to find an alternative solution. More specifically, because I am a digital nomad, I'm constantly traveling to different places and not staying in one place for a very long time. So I wanted to find an alternative that would be suitable for my lifestyle. So I started my research. I had heard a lot of things about different places like Estonia, where you can open a digital business, Malta, Portugal, Ireland, even opening up an LLC in the US. And all of these seemed like great options, but there were some cons about these. First of all, in all of these places, you had to pay personal income tax. And in order to become a taxable person in that country, you actually had to move to that country. So that it defied the whole concept, or for me, of wanting to travel and not being locked in one specific place for longer than 2 months. In most places, you had to stay living in that country over 6 months in order to become a tax resident, right? With the corporate tax is a little bit different. Some countries had 0% corporate tax, like some LLCs in the USA, in some states. But generally speaking, it seemed like a hassle, and it seemed like I still had to either become a tax resident in that country or remain being a tax resident as a person in Spain, but having my corporate taxes somewhere else. So it didn't make sense to me at all. I had heard about Dubai as well, but I had heard a lot of different things. I did not find a lot of information online that would help me make my decision. And to be honest, I thought that Dubai was just for the millionaires, when you had like a business that was like making hundreds of thousands of dollars every year or even millions. It wasn't until last year when I moved to Bali that by coincidence, the universe put me someone who has a business, a digital business in Dubai, put him in my path. And we met up for coffee one day. We're talking about business, and I asked him, he's from the UK, so I asked him, how are you doing? How are you doing with taxes in the UK while living here in Bali? And he told me that actually he had his business set up in Dubai, actually 2 businesses, 2 online businesses. And I was like, no way, that's exactly what I've been trying to do. I haven't found really good information online. So he set me up. He set me up with the agency that had done everything for him. And obviously my first move was to book a call with them and ask all the questions that I had in mind. After speaking with Gareth, who is the owner of the agency, it was clearly a no-brainer for me. So I'm gonna tell you now why Dubai was a no-brainer for me and why this could be a great option for you if you're also looking at setting up a legal company in a different country. Now, I do want to open parenthesis here. I was already thinking about wanting to open up a business rather than being it everything under my personal name as a freelancer, just to separate things, right? For legal aspects as well. So I was really looking forward to opening up a business. And again, Spain didn't offer a lot of benefits for this, so it was not an option. So Dubai is known as a free zone where you don't pay any type of corporate tax or personal income tax. There are different free zones depending on the type of your business. I went with the IFZA, which was one of the best options for me as a new business because it's affordable, efficient, and it includes everything you need to get started. And here's how the process goes. You first need to apply to a visa that will allow you to apply to the free zone. Then you need to apply to residency. And once your residence is approved, you need to apply for a bank account, a corporate bank account, which is a whole process on its own. Now let's talk about the taxing part, which is probably what you're here for. So on the free zone that I'm operating, and since my business doesn't do any business within the UAE, this means that I don't pay any corporate or personal income tax up until around $700,000 a year. After that, you do have to pay a corporate income tax of around 9%, right? But by the time that I get to that level, which I know I will get very soon, 9% of the whole revenue is still a no-brainer and is still way less than what I would be paying in Spain. As I said, you are allowed to become a resident in Dubai, which means that your personal income tax is also based there. And since there is no personal income tax, you pay 0% for that. Now you do have to pay yourself a salary from your company to your personal bank account, but again, this is non-taxable. I did not have time to go through the whole process of the visa application, the license, opening up the bank account, and all the back and forth with these institutions. That's why going with an agency was a no-brainer for me, because I am a busy person. I want to continue working my business, and this would have probably taken me months of research, of back and forth, and just taking time away from my actual goal, which is growing my business. Now, opening a business in Dubai doesn't mean that you don't have yearly costs. There are some fixed costs that you have to pay every year. There are some one-time fees that you have to pay when you open your business for the first time. So I'm gonna go through all of them so that you can also assess and make a decision whether or not you're ready for this investment. So the trade license, which is your license that allows you to open your business, you have to pay a fee of $4,250 a year. So this is an average because the actual prices are in dirhams. Then you need an establishment card, which is about $850 per year. Your residence visa application, which lasts for 2 years, is around $2,040. So this makes your total fixed costs about $5,000, which is pretty doable, right? If you compare it to what you are paying in taxes in your country of residence. Now, here are some one-time fee payments that you pay just the first time when you're opening up your company, like the business bank account setup, which comes up to $3,250, and the initial visa processing, which comes to about $2,000. Adding all of this together, plus the agency fee, because obviously they have to charge for their work, I ended up paying about $13,500. I know this is a huge investment, but if you think about it in the long run, the money that you stop paying in taxes wherever you're taxed now is probably way more than this. So I saw it as a great opportunity to make just a one-time investment, and I know that now I've given myself a salary increase of around 40% by doing absolutely nothing. Now, the fact that you're not paying taxes in Dubai doesn't mean that you don't need bookkeeping. You still need to adhere to the tax regulations there and show your income, your yearly income, your expenses, so forth and so on. So you do need to keep into account that you will need an accountant or a bookkeeping. In my case, this was included in the fee that I paid, the entire fee, the $13,500, which again was a no-brainer for me, life-saving, because I don't want to be tracking all by myself, especially in a brand new country where I'm not really aware of all the regulations, nor do I have the time to learn about this. So that's why I decided to go with an agency that I was at Done For You boutique agency that made the whole process so easy. I honestly didn't have to lift a finger at all. So here are some of the things that you also need to understand. You do need to be in Dubai for around 2 to 3 weeks during the setup process, okay? Why? You need to be there because you need to get some medical examinations, your biometrics for your residence card. You need to wait for your residence card to be delivered. And then once your residence card is ready, you need to start the banking application process. Okay, the banking application process is the longest part and it can have some difficulties depending on your industry. They might require you to be there present when your bank account is finalized to sign some documents. I did not have to do this, thankfully, but I was still there. So I spent around 25 days in the Emirates since the moment that I received my visa, because the visa process was started way before I went to the Emirates. Once my visa was ready, I went to the country. I spent around 25 days and the whole process took maybe like less than 20 days. Okay, so you need to keep this into consideration. If you are thinking about opening up your business there, you're gonna have to be in the Emirates for a couple of times. And then the other requirement is that you have to enter the country once every 6 months and maybe spend 1, 2, or 3 days there so that your residence is still valid. So it's super doable for me. As I said, I'm a digital nomad. I'm constantly traveling between Bali, Europe, and Colombia. So it makes sense for me to have the Emirates like this, a central base where I can just stop for a couple of days so that my residence doesn't expire or it still works. Now, another thing to keep in mind, is this the right move for you? This is probably not the best move if you're just getting started with your business and you're making a few $1,000s. Doesn't make sense at all. You need to also check your country of citizenship regulations where you're paying taxes right now, because I know of countries like Brazil where taxes are pretty low. So it might not really make sense to you to go through this whole process and make this huge investment. Now, with this being said, there are some other countries like the US where no matter where you're living, you will always have to tax back to the US. So you always have to report all your incomes into the US and you'll be taxed on that. So even if you were opening up a business in Dubai and paying taxes there, if you are a US citizen, you will have to pay taxes in the US as well. So I'm not sure if that makes sense or if it's better for you to open up an LLC in one of those states, like I think it's Delaware and Missouri. I don't know. There's a couple of states where the corporate income tax is 0% or it's really low. But if you are scaling your business, running it from different places around the world, traveling, and you don't mind moving around, this could be a game changer for you. And if you wanna skip all the headaches, which I would suggest you to do, I would totally advise you to work with an agency. The agency that I worked with, Start Business Dubai Advisory, as I said, they were lovely and they did everything for me. When I arrived to Dubai, they picked me up for my medical appointments, for my biometrics. The owner of the agency guard is a lovely guy and he's like really looks after his clients. We went for dinner twice, we got to know each other, so it feels like they really care about you. They handled all the processes, so I literally just had to pay and wait for my business to be set up. So here's some final thoughts for you. If you feel like this is the right time for you, I would suggest you to take action right now, because the longer you wait, the more money you have to give back to the government. And I know there's going to be some sort of ethical topic here, or a lot of people are going to be saying like, you should be paying taxes. And yes, you should be paying taxes, but the amount of taxes that we pay in most countries is ridiculous. But if you can avoid it, at least for a while, why not? Right? In my experience, moving my business to Dubai has been the best decision ever. Super smooth, super friendly. Also, being in Dubai, in the Emirates, surrounded by like super high achieving entrepreneurs helps you with your energy and raise up your energy and open up your mind, expand your mind. And that was a really good thing for me that I learned while I was there, and it helped me set up new standards in my business. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more and asking more questions, I'm sharing a link in the description so that you can book a call with Gareth and ask all the questions that you have about opening up your business there and see if this is the right fit for you. I do have to disclaim that if you do end up booking with them, there's a small commission that I'm going to be taking for bringing you there, honesty above all, but I swear it's going to be a game changer for you, for your business, for your life, and it's a great opportunity. So if you're interested, click on the link below or just send me a DM on Instagram if you want to talk about my personal experience more, and I'll be very happy to get back to you. And with this being said, I'll see you next week.